The first time I saw it, that was my reaction. The second time I read the paper and understood that this was not a currency, it was a decentralized network model for financial security and trust. One of the things I like to emphasize is that Bitcoin is not just money for the internet, and to look at it simply as money for the internet is to miss the point. Bitcoin is the internet of money. Currency is just the first app. The Bitcoin currency is almost the same as email was in the 90s. It enabled the growth of the internet. It was the killer application that made it viable and worthwhile for people to get involved. Many of the traditional financial services can now be redesigned and re-envisioned in a completely decentralized fashion without intermediaries. This concept of disintermediation, or removing intermediaries, and connecting directly buyers to sellers, lenders to creditors, consumers to merchants without intermediaries, is the magical power of Bitcoin. That's what this invention has allowed us to do without having to establish trust first. As I mentioned before, Bitcoin is not unregulated. It is regulated both by mathematics as well as dynamic markets that exist among its participants and users. The only analogy I can think of is if in the proto-internet, the Federal Communications Commission in the United States had decided that the internet was simply a sophisticated form of CB radio and required a license from every website operator. I believe we're still at the very early stages of this technology. So the fact that it is programmable money allows us to invent completely new models for security. There are some very interesting applications where the decentralized ledger is used as a public record of sorts for all kinds of things. From registering bicycles to registering automobiles to registering company shares. 2 days ago I was at a Bitcoin conference where a couple was married, and their marriage was registered on the blockchain for the first time. I think the very nature of currency is changing. And so I think the economy or organization that is adopting the currency is the internet, and that's a transnational entity. And I think that has even more important implications for the future than national currencies. Bitcoin is already bigger than some national currencies, and in the future may end up being more important for economic activity than dozens of smaller national currencies. So I think it's important to recognize that on a small scale and for personal use, there should be clarity in the law that makes it clear that you don't require licenses to operate, and personal use as a consumer is not subject to banking level regulation, because that would be very useful in allowing further development of this technology.
Thank you very much. This meeting is concluded.